All right, welcome in. Cube Show Podcast, college football podcast. Probably not going to be with you on too many more Sundays. So moving ahead. Was in Detroit over the weekend. Ford Field was beautiful. First time I had been there. Got a competitive game in the UFL. We'll be in Arlington this Saturday, but then Easter on Sunday. So we'll get something out to you. But hopefully going to have less craziness than we've had this week in college football, or at least this weekend. And glad we had an extra day because I want to bring in Jayson Swain, former Tennessee football player, now covers the Volunteers, does radio in Knoxville, and part of that radio broadcast team to discuss Nico Iamaleava in this situation that's going down. It is wild. It is different. It is crazy. There are a lot of opinions. I'll give you mine. You'll get his, and I wanted his because it's different. He wore that uniform. He lives it. He's breathed it. He knows the pulse of the former players. He knows the pulse of the program. He's got a different lens on it. And it's one that I think is valuable with everything that's going down. You guys know each and every week, brought to you by Wickles Pickles. They are wickedly delicious. We always have them. We always snack on them. We love them. If you don't have Wickles Pickles in your grocery store, ask them why. Plain and simple. Just straight up. Why do you not have Wickles Pickles here? I want to buy them. If you get them, I will. If you see a dish at your local restaurant that has them, order that up. Tell them you want extra Wickles on the side. They are wonderful. WicklesPickles.com. You can go order some of the gear. We appreciate them supporting the show, so please support them so we can keep going. Nico Iamaleava, this situation, I'm just going to start by saying this. I think the entire thing is unfortunate and sad. I think that there are a lot of fingers being pointed at him individually that probably don't need to be. Do I have a little extra information on this situation? Yeah, I do. I've had Tennessee a couple times in the last 2 years. I know some people inside that facility, so I have a decent idea of how things have operated. I don't think this is all on him. I don't think it's just him calling the shots. I don't think it's just him being an arrogant quarterback going around saying, I want this, I want that. I think he's got some people in his camp that are pushing him in different directions. But I think he's also a quarterback, and I think he knew he was a high-profile, high-paid quarterback, and that's changed maybe some of his behavior. I'll tell you straight up, he skipped a television meeting with us one time when we were there in Knoxville, and I don't know if it was because he wanted to or he genuinely forgot or genuinely had something else going on, but it's happened. So I look at this as part of it is the new era of college football, sort of where we are. Not having guidelines, not having boundaries, not having ways to force guys to uphold agreements that they make. Because let's think about it. Everything's being done via third party. So even the people that you're responsible to are not technically the people that you're responsible to. Financially, from a appearance standpoint, from an autograph standpoint, or from a Instagram post standpoint, you're responsible usually to the collective. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with the coaches and your teammates, which is another issue that I have with this here is how was he communicating with his teammates? So Thursday, Pete Nakos puts out that there is ongoing negotiation with Nico Iamaleava's camp and Tennessee on whether or not he's going to enter the portal and try to get a different deal. Wanted a different deal there. Easy question would be why? I thought Nico was pretty good last year. I didn't think he was great last year. Some of that, not necessarily the point, because you're playing a younger quarterback a lot of times because of what they can be or will be down the road. And I do think that's a big part of it here with Josh Heupel in Tennessee. Thought Josh did a good job taking some pressure off of him this year. Imagine Nico last year without a Dylan Sampson or an offensive line that played really good for about 75% of the year, or a group of tight ends that busted their ass blocking for you and made some nice catches across the course of the season. So going into this year, there are some other folks that say he looked at the cast and wasn't happy. Tough. I mean, that's the hand you're dealt. You're not going to always just be able to get out of it. Do I appreciate what Tennessee did? Yes. I do think the majority of this decision was made by Tennessee, and I think their hand was forced. You skip practice, don't show up for practice. You can't do that to your teammates. You can't do that to your guys. I go a step further and say, when did you even notify your teammates that you were out? And that's a problem that I have with this whole thing and how it went down. But I do understand the business portion of it also, and I'm all about guys getting theirs. But he's had his, was probably overpaid coming out of high school. And then to try and renegotiate multiple times, and as some people have shared, potentially was trying to renegotiate during the playoff run. And if there was any consideration of sitting out that game, Josh Heupel's done with him at that moment anyway, I can tell you that. It's the one reason that I'm not real sure about if that exactly went down that way, because I'll tell you this, going into a playoff game, if that was happening, I see Josh Heupel as a guy that says, there's the door, go ahead and make your way to it. We'll figure it out with everybody else. Hell, we'll go Wildcat with Dylan Sampson every snap if we have to. Josh is not really that guy. But I do think Josh understands today's college football, and he wants to help his guys get his. It's just now we have this uneven balance of how much do we let guys push? How much can we push back? They can leave at any moment. They can renegotiate at any time. And it's just not the way that it should be. Free market, open enterprise, whatever you want to say, it's great. But you can't hold your teammates hostage. You can't hold the coaching staff hostage. And when you're already getting yours, how often should you be able to come back to the table and say, I want more. This guy's getting that. I should get this. They're just it's kind of like one thing you're going to hear Jayson Swain say in this interview. There's a right way and a wrong way to do things. And you can believe about power or non-power or suing the NCAA or the NCAA should have stepped in. There will always be a right and wrong way to do things and handle yourselves. I personally don't think that was done here from Nico Iamaleava's side. I'll say it one more time. Do I think it was all on him? No, I don't. But you miss practice and you say it's because you needed a mental health day because your name was trending on Twitter. Why was your name trending on Twitter? It wasn't because your dad went out and called Pete Nakos a bitch and tried to say that he was wrong, because Pete Nakos ended up being right in this entire situation. So the renegotiation was happening, which is most likely why your name was on Twitter. Yeah, it's because the guy reported it, but what the guy reported was real. And I'm also going to share this with Jason. I'll share this with you guys. I might be more interested in where this landing spot is out of the portal than any other that's hit the portal. And we've had some high-profile names. We've had some big names hit the portal that we've wondered, where are they going to go? Where are they going to be? You know, you think about Spencer Rattler, other guys that have hit the portal, big-time quarterbacks. I mean, Joe Burrow wasn't as high-profile a name, but we've had Jalen Hurts hit the portal. Caleb Downs, Quinshon Judkins. We have big names go to the portal. We've wondered, where are they going to go? I might be more interested in this one because there is a genuine consensus that the majority of the people out there are saying, don't do it, or you shouldn't do this, or for the greater good, don't take this individual. So how much heat's going to come back on an individual coach with other coaches saying, why'd you do that? Look what you did to us. Now everybody just thinks they can go renegotiate and go get a big deal here. Is that real? Do coaches care about that? Are they even thinking about that? Mainly collectives thinking about that. Athletic departments thinking about that. So, and then just too, the headache that comes with it, I think there's a lot of people that are going to say, you know what? No, we'll deal with a lot, but we're not dealing with this. And I do think that a lot of coaches are dealing with less and putting up with less than comes across in the public media when covering college football. There are a lot of it's a lot right now. Dealing with it is a ton. But I do think there are a lot of coaches that put their foot down. I think Josh Heupel's one of them. Now, is it what it was in 1980? No. 1998? No. 2008? No. But there are a lot of coaches that are stiff-arming a lot of the bullshit because it's a little bit too much. And I think it's one thing that Josh Heupel in Tennessee did, but I also think they had to do it. You can't allow the leader of your football team to stand up his teammates that way, specifically when it's been reported that you're in the middle of a negotiation or a renegotiation. It can't take place. I think there are two things specifically that Tennessee got overly frustrated with here. Timing, when this took place. 2 days before your spring game, a day before your spring game, and you're going to pull this stuff? It can't happen. I know the portal window and when it opens, when it closes, but you can't have things like that happening at that exact time. And then I'll say frequency. Let's just say the people talking about the playoff deal are accurate. I don't know that. I don't know anything about it, so I'm going to stay away from that. But I'm going to play that it is real right now. You're renegotiating then. You're renegotiating now. There's other discussions that have been had about things that took place last year. The ongoing nature of it had to be frustrating and has to be something that somebody inside that athletic department said, no more. We're not going to do it. We gave you this out of high school. We took a lot of heat for it. We went to bat for you with the NCAA, had to get our lawyers involved. Hell, our governor got involved. We won, but we did it mainly for you and for the future of recruiting other guys. But we did that, and we stood up for it. And this is how we're repaid. Now, we went and played football. I get it. I understand it. But I think that the repetitive nature of it and the timing of it probably pushed just a little bit too hard. And it wasn't something that the guys in that facility were going to put up with or take anymore. And I can't blame them for that. I don't blame them for that. But where this ends up next is going to be really intriguing, because now also keep in mind, you're going to get a lot of Tennessee fans. I understand it, no wrath like a woman scorned or a fan base scorned. And you've been scorned by Nico Iamaleava. But don't just go look at last year's numbers and say to yourself, this is an average quarterback or an average player. Has he been an average player so far? Probably a little bit above that, yes. Has he been elite? No. Has he been great? No, he hasn't. Does not mean he can't be. doesn't mean that he can't be. Because the difference here is people are just going to look at numbers and say he's not a good player anymore, or he can't be a good player. The ceiling with Nico is going to be higher than any other quarterback that hits the portal in the spring. I have no doubt about that. And what he's going to be capable of doing down the road might not have anything to do with what happened in Knoxville. So I do understand the frustration of maybe what he didn't do on the field last year, or what he's done in the facility, or from a renegotiating standpoint, or did to his team. That's one thing. It's a whole nother thing to talk about the potential that this player has. And it's great. The ceiling is high. It's up there, which is even more so why I am more intrigued with him than I am any other prospect that's hit the portal. Because you're going to have coaches saying no, and not because they know him or they've been around him. It's to protect some sort of sanctity within college football ranks of how NIL is going to work. And then also, you're going to have people that are saying, don't deal with it, or we can't deal with it, or we won't deal with it. And if there are people behind the scenes that have been pushing hard while he was the guy, while he was getting paid, you don't think they're going to be pushing hard now to try and go get a new deal with a new team? Because I sat back at first and I wondered, is this a little bit of a defense mechanism, or is this guy telling the truth? Turns out now it's a little bit of a defense mechanism to come out and say, no, more lies, more lies, more lies. So going on the defensive has not worked. Now that camp has to go on the offensive and prove to everybody else that they were right renegotiating, which I'm not sure they're going to be able to do. And some of these numbers are never real and we don't know anyway. But where this one goes, and I don't know who's interested right now. But I'll throw out a couple that I've seen all thrown out. USC, UCLA, Notre Dame are the main ones that I see. I think Southern Cal's in great shape at quarterback, and I don't think they're going to go that direction. UCLA, I have no idea their NIL structure, how it works, how it operates with the newer regime. I don't know where they want to go. You can leave that out there for whatever interpretation you want, but I have no idea. I'm going to say right now, you people throwing out Notre Dame, hell to the no. No, you've never been around Marcus Freeman. You've never had a conversation with him, and you've never taken a deep dive into how he runs his program. Absolutely not. I think there is 0.0% chance Notre Dame takes Nico Iamaleava or has any interest in him. That's my opinion on it, without having to talk to Marcus himself. But I would say no, definitely not. The Ohio State thing, your offensive coordinator's out. If the quarterbacks really didn't look great in the spring, I don't know. Does it go back and fall back on Ryan Day, where the importance of that position comes? I got to have a playmaker there to be able to go win football games. I don't think Ryan Day is someone who wants to welcome some of that BS. But we referenced Quinshon Judkins when we talked to Jayson Swain, and he went in there. Did you have any problems with him? No. Seemed like it went pretty well. Now, does he have the same locker room he had last year? Doubt it. But that culture is also set and strong. So I don't know where this thing goes. North Carolina is a team that a lot of people are pointing to. Bill Belichick putting up with that? Doesn't seem likely. So I think the landing spots are going to be more limited than we think. But as I saw Emory Hunt tweet out over the weekend that the UFL should maybe look at Nico, or Nico's people should talk to the UFL because he might be done in college football. Never, and when I say never, I mean never, ever, ever underestimate the desperation for the quarterback position at any level of football. 7th grade, high school, college, NAIA, D3, SEC, NFL, all of them are desperate for quarterbacks. And this quarterback has a very high ceiling and a tremendous amount of talent. Is there baggage? Yes. Are there issues? Yes. Are there headaches? Yes. But he can help people win games. And on top of that, arrogance of needing a quarterback, or desperation needing a quarterback, never doubt the arrogance of a coach who thinks they can get their guy right and that it's going to work for me. We've seen it time and time again. So will there be one out there that, one, thinks they can get him right, and two, is willing to step up and deal with some of these issues? Yeah, there will be. 100%. It's going to happen. Just don't know how many options there are going to be and what that real new deal is going to look like. Hey, guys, don't forget about Roback. Cole20 is your promo code to save 20%. Roback, they gear us up for every show right here on Cube Show. We appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, you see a Roback little quarter zip that I'm wearing today. They got me the Auburn gear for the tournament. They got school gear. They've got gear coming up for fall. They've got the new Azalea line coming off the Masters. A lot of cool stuff at Roback. The most comfortable hoodies I've ever worn. You will absolutely love it. They got shorts. They got joggers. They got belts. They got everything you need at Roback. Go check them out. Long sleeve T-shirts, short sleeve T-shirts. You can dress them up, dress them down. Polos. Roback is the absolute best. Go to roback.com. Use Colt20 promo code to get your gear now. So want to bring in Jayson Swain, a guy that I have a ton of respect for, a guy that played the position, a guy that understands this university and everything happening there as well as anyone, and get his take on this entire situation with Nico Iamaleava. All right, welcome in Jayson Swain, does radio in Knoxville, played his football at Tennessee, member of the Tennessee radio broadcast team. So nobody's opinion let's just say this, that I care about more on this than you, because you see this from the media's perspective, a former player's perspective, a former player at Tennessee's perspective, and a guy who works still there in Knoxville. So you're up close to it. You get it. You understand it. Where did this go wrong? Because we saw the potential. We saw in the bowl game 2 years ago. We saw flashes of it last season. We knew what he was as a recruit coming out of high school, Jayson. Nico Iamaleava, his camp in Tennessee, Josh Heupel. How did we get to where we are today?
Greed and a lack of vision. I mean, I think it's that simple. I think when you realize that you have this talent, this God-given ability that can help you change your family's life forever, you can make money at the pro level, but on the way to the pro level, which, hey, man, if you do it right, you're going to play a decade in the pros. But on the way to the pros, you can play 3-4 years in college and make some pretty good money. And I think the lack of vision, not understanding that the pros that's the ultimate destination, not college. Guys that don't have a pro career, you try to make as much money as possible in college because you know that's it. But for a guy like Nico that has the physical tools to play a decade and more in the NFL, I think lack of vision, I think greed is the reason why we are here.
When this thing actually took place, I saw it going down Thursday, and then Friday when he wasn't at practice, I immediately thought, and I think I tweeted something out like, is this locker room even going to be one he can come back to? That goes back to some old school mentality that you and I would have had when we played. But if you were to sort of measure this separation, Camp Iamaleava, Heupel in Tennessee of, hey, that's it, you're not here anymore, or hey, we're leaving. Like which one outweighed the other, or was it 50-50? Was it mutual? Like how does that part of this work?
Well, I started hearing some rumblings, months ago. I understood kind of what Tennessee was dealing with from, Nico's camp. They didn't have real representation. This was, family ran. I remember when Tennessee signed Nico, and the reports of the 3-year, $8 billion deal, that didn't come out from Tennessee side. That was leaked from Nico's side and his representation. I think the reason why is because the representation that was serving, Nico probably wanted it out there that he was able to get this deal done, so that way he can probably bring in more clients. But Tennessee didn't want that out there at all. But hey, Tennessee knew who they wanted. They wanted a top-tier quarterback, and they felt like Nico was that. But, over time, and understand, like, these NIL deals, how it was structured. It's not, hey, you come here, you play, here's the money. NIL deals are structured for you to do things, to attend things, and it's a two-way street. And so with the play, with the supporting cast, I don't think necessarily represent Tennessee in the best way and behavior, and then wanting more, and then not having the play to back it up, and what you need from a quarterback. It's not just about throwing the football and handing it off. It's how you handle yourself. Being a quarterback at Tennessee, in a lot of ways, is bigger than being the governor of Tennessee. You are in the limelight. You need to carry yourself a certain way. And so, Nico, I thought, respectful, good kid, very polite. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he understood the position, the power of the position, playing quarterback at Tennessee.
Did how all this is happening, is that harder for you and maybe some of your former teammates, other guys that played there, a little bit more difficult to, I guess, manage or talk about or even consider when you got Navy Schuler on that team last year. So his dad's right there. I saw his dad on the sideline of one game. Like, he represented, that power T as well as anybody at that position. I've sat in that Manning room. Like, you've been in there. I've been there like 25 times. We do our TV interviews in there. Now, he stood us up for one, but it's not like you walk around there and don't think Peyton Manning existed at that place. Like, you have these pillars of the position. T. Martin has a road named after him. Like, it's not just, hey, we had a good quarterback or two and they won this or that award. Like, there are foundational pieces of what quarterbacks at Tennessee were. Does it make it that much more frustrating knowing that all that is there and has been there?
I mean, you think about the barriers that were broken at the University of Tennessee. I mean, you got Conjus Holloway,
no doubt,
the first black quarterback in the SEC. You get T. Martin, who was the first black quarterback to win a championship in the SEC. You think about all the quarterbacks, doesn't matter what color they are, that play the quarterback position at Tennessee and increase the value of the position. The Hendon Hookers, the T. Martins, the Casey Clausens. I can't name all of them, but all of them had a role in this position being as valuable as it was when Nico took over. And they didn't get paid that type of money. Hendon Hooker has a Heisman Trophy type of season, and Nico saw Hendon and thought he could be the same type of player, but Hendon didn't get that money at all based on his performance here at Tennessee. So it's tough, man. And I remember going on recruiting visits, and I remember going to Auburn. Stands out. When you go into Auburn's locker room, and I don't know, you guys might have changed it around. The money makes it easier to get renovations every single year. But, like, I remember that locker room, and I remember there was a rope around the logo inside that locker room. And that was the first time I saw that. And that let me know that there was a pride factor, that the players did not want anyone stepping on the logo inside your own locker room. And then I started seeing more colleges do that. That's what it's about. I mean, you have foreign players here who are like, wait, you get paid $2.4 million, and that's not enough to wear the Power T and represent the Power T and play for the state of Tennessee and all these fans and all these players that played before you. So, yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a feeling from foreign players as well.
So you see it from the media side. You cover it there in Knoxville. You obviously are part of the broadcast team for the Vols, so you're even closer to it there, being on the sidelines. And you're a former player. So you talk to guys, you have relationships with guys. What is the thought process of the former players, the current players, the guys that are, close to that program now about moving forward without him?
Well, I mean, I think it's a really good opportunity because I think and college football now, and you see it because you travel around the country, I think there's less leadership on teams now than ever before.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because you got the cell phones, and guys are on their phones. They're not talking to each other. Guys are playing video games in their rooms. Colleges are different. They're getting rid of, kind of the hangout spots where guys used to go and hang out for hours and hours. So it's really hard to build that chemistry, spend that time together, and have real relationships. But I think this situation is going to force these guys to come together and say, all right, man, Nico, he didn't want to be here. This wasn't good enough for him. It was about the money. You got a guy like Miles Kitselman, who probably one of the best leaders I've seen in Tennessee in a long time, kind of take the bull by its horns, and demanded to talk to the team and address the team. And he stepped forward, and he's going to call on some of his teammates to do the same thing. But I think it's going to bring the team together closer than we've seen in a long time. But Tennessee needs to probably add a quarterback for sure. You got a redshirt freshman. You got a true freshman at quarterback. Tennessee certainly needs more experience there at the position to add some competition. But I think these guys are gonna play harder together.
We need more Kitselmans, man. Like, not what he just said about, I've been around selfish guys before, but like, you learn his story, and he was coming out as being recruited as a DN, wanted to play DN. I think his dad and his uncle sat him down and was like, hey, man, your future might be at tight end. And tries to go JUCO to play DN, doesn't work out. goes to try to play tight end. His position coach told him basically the first day of practice, like, you're not good enough. You can't do this.
Yep.
And he's like, all right, well then, like, tell me what I need to do it then. He goes, all right, we'll be at my house, like, or be here, either here at his house, and like, we'll go, I'll get you ready every morning, 6 a.m. And he showed up, and then he showed up again and showed up again. Now the dude's a hell of an SEC tight end. So kind of understands it. And it is wild, Jason. I hear so many coaches, like I'll give you Auburn as an example last year. People raved about Jaron Thompson at safety, who's not, he's not like an Eric Berry, like a good player, and like the leadership that he brought. And then 2 different receivers that came in, Robert Smith, Keandre Lambert-Smith, like the leadership they brought to that room. You and I both know you really shouldn't be able to get a newcomer come in and lead like that. Like if you do, great, but it kind of shouldn't work that way.
Not normal.
So your point about leadership, I think, is spot on. Did you see some of this coming? Like, was this forecasted a little bit by either him or his camp? Not just this exact move, but just kind of all of this?
Yeah, I saw it coming. I saw, December, when one of Tennessee's highest rated receivers, excuse me, there was some talk about him possibly getting to the portal when the portal window opened. And part of the reason why he was thinking about getting into the portal is because he was uncertain if Nico was going to get into the portal. And I was like, wait a minute. I haven't heard anything about Nico getting into the portal. If this player is thinking about getting into the portal because he doesn't know if his quarterback is going to be there or not, that must mean the quarterback's thinking about it. That must mean the quarterback or the representation for the quarterback is talking to other schools. And so I just, at that moment in December, I just kind of prepared for it. To think that maybe that was a possibility, there was conversations going on as you're preparing for a playoff game, that's just weird to me. I can't wrap my head around, doing that. But hey, when there's so much money on the table, I guess guys can do that. And listen, man, I want the guys to get money. You want the guys to get money. Yeah. Go get it. Go get every dollar that you can get. I think at the end of the day, there's a right way and a wrong way. And not every piece of money is worth it. Sometimes all the money is not, it's not worth it to me. But I want the guys to get money. I want them to get paid, but I want them to do it the right way. You got a room full of guys that count on you and depend on you, not just if you play quarterback or not, whether you play any position. At the end of the day, the 10 guys alongside of you, they're counting on you to give your best and to be mentally into it, to have your heart into it, because it's a physical game. And if you're not, you're going to get somebody hurt. You're going to get your teammates hurt. So everybody get your money, but at the same time, when you step in between the white lines, whether it's at practice, workouts, or the game, be about your business at the end of the day.
Does it make it a little bit harder, too, with what Tennessee did for Nico and recruiting? Tennessee stuck their necks out for him in that initial deal. Like you said, they didn't put the numbers out, but the numbers were the numbers and had to have at least some semblance of, if this does get out, like there are not a lot of guys doing this. That's going to bring extra pressure, extra attention on us. And then obviously the NCAA going at them. It's got to be even more frustrating just knowing Tennessee went to bat for this kid, man, multiple times in multiple ways.
Tennessee was willing to do something that no one was doing, not just because Nico was a talent. Now, that is the first important thing, though. He's very, very talented. But they had a good feel from meeting with the family. And, they put a lot of resources into getting into the games, which is all right there documented with, the NCAA trying to come at Tennessee. But Tennessee believed what they did was right. They believed in Nico, and they fought the NCAA. They sued the NCAA and won.
Crazy
for Nico. You look at Arch Manning and you look at Nico. Physically, I think they're kind of right there, Cole. But we know the difference between the two, and that's sad, man. When you think about it that way, it really is.
There's no doubt, and it's an easy contrast to kind of make. When you see this unravel the way it did, you've told me some stories about former players that you've talked to about this. Not just Tennessee, but where do you think we are with the legacy portion of college football? Tradition, history, care. I mean, I stole a quote from a buddy of mine, Griff Redmill, that played football at Alabama a long time ago. He said, every dime I've ever made has been because I played football at Alabama. And he's in packaging sales. So, like, it has nothing to do with media or anything. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, damn, my first interview with a pharmaceutical company, we talked Auburn football. When I interviewed for a medical sales job, it was because I met the guy and he wanted to talk to me because I played football at Auburn. Now, I had other interviews past that, but the point is the doors were opened because of that. And not just that some, billionaire booster gave me some cush job. It's just that it's always going to be there for you to have. That's why I've said the value of these scholarships, there is no cap on it because you can use it the rest of your life. How much of that's gone in today's college football?
It's gone for the people who don't understand it. I mean, I think there's people still out there sharing with these young people that it's still a 40-year decision. I mean, it's even longer than that, man. It's a lifetime decision. The impact that it can have. I mean, I think about me coming from Huntsville, Alabama to Tennessee in 2003, playing 4 years, being a captain my last year, which was the most important accolade I've ever received, in my opinion. Not the All-American status, not being, top 10 all-time receiving receptions at Tennessee, none of that stuff. It's being selected by my coaches and teammates who represent them to be a captain. And then going, trying to play NFL, did not work out. I felt good about living my life past football because I felt like I handled myself the right way at Tennessee. I did things the right way. I gave my all, laid it on the line. And whatever I chose to do, I felt like I was going to get help in that direction. No idea I was going to be doing what I'm doing now.
Right.
But it's why I think I am doing what I'm doing now because I have credibility. And it was always about what can I do for my teammates or my team or my university. It wasn't about me. It was about me being a servant leader. And I think about now I have my family in Knoxville. I have a career in Knoxville. I've shown my kids how to do things the right way because of what I learned in football. My last name is strong in Knoxville, and that's something that's I think is going to live on when I'm not here anymore. So it's more than a 40-year decision, Cole. And some of these guys who are transferring year after year after year, my question to you is, where are you going to go when it's time to connect with some of your teammates and everyone's going back for the spring game or an alumni event or homecoming or the biggest game of the season? And, you want to go back to the school where you laid it on the line. Where are you going?
Right.
Are you going to the second school or the third school? Are you going to the school where you spent the most time? I mean, the school where, the city is the most fun. Where you going? I know one thing. The Orange and White game this past weekend, there were so many guys on the sideline from different eras. The Al Wilsons, the Josh Dobbs, guys that balled out at different eras. Guys, some of these guys I looked up to when I was a player, before I was a player, the guys I look up to when they played after me. And so that's what you're missing when you have these players hopping from school to school to school, trying to chase every dollar. Not every piece of dollar is worth it, in my opinion.
Hey, permanent captain 2000. Every chance I get, I take my kids by there, show them the bricks, tell them why they're there, because you want them to know. It's like you said, the thing that I'm most proud of during my Auburn career. What do you think is next for Nico and his camp? And I'm not asking you to predict the destination, but just is this going to be an issue moving forward? Is it going to continuously be difficult to deal? Because one thing I do think is, hey, listen, Tennessee fans, I understand the frustration, but the kid is immensely talented. He has and like you said before, there's a reason he's there. The ceiling is super high. So there's no doubt. What is next for he and the people around him?
Well, first you got to have some humility. I think that's the first step, and you got to put your ego to the side. As men that play this sport, you can sometimes have an ego that can get yourself in trouble, and just humans in general. Understand that you messed up. You messed up big time. But that doesn't mean that it's over. You can learn from this. I think the family needs to get a real agent and then let the agent do what he's paid to do. And at the end of the day, quarterbacks, it's more than just throwing the football and handing it off. It's about being a leader. It's about doing what you expect your teammates to do. It's about communication. I think for a guy like Nico, I mean, he was a guy that I mean, you didn't really see him out a lot. You didn't see him, hanging out. And for whatever reason, I don't want to speculate on why, but like you got to spend time with your guys, on and off the football field. And so hopefully he learns that. Man, the dude was cool as all get out with me. When I did an interview with him, he was very, very respectful. I appreciated my time with him. I was a big fan of how he played. Loved watching his game, and I want him to be successful. I'm just not on board with what happened last week with just not showing up and allowing the money to get in the way of what you're supposed to do with a teammate. So learn from it, get better, and hopefully what happened doesn't ruin his career and he gets another opportunity to play at a big time level because he's a big time player, big time talent.
Yeah. There were some rumblings about some of this stuff happening right before the playoff game at Ohio State. Do you have any recollection, knowledge of that being real at all?
Man, I heard that too, Cole. And I can't imagine that. I mean, you spend all off season trying to go win a championship. You spend the whole season trying to put yourself in position to win a championship. The Arkansas game where I thought, he had some good moments. Obviously had the bad moment at the end, which was a learning moment for him. And I know he was crushed by losing the game and felt like he could have done more. Him getting hit in the Mississippi State game, being shaken up, coming back in the Georgia game. I mean, he went out in the Alabama game, took a big hit.
Yeah.
Was in the tent. A backup quarterback threw a pick. He came back out and led Tennessee to a victory. I mean, like when he's in between the white lines, man, he's a warrior. To think, man, you did all that work to win a championship. You get to that position of winning a championship, and you want to negotiate and hold the school hostage right before a playoff game?
Yeah, I can't imagine. It's crazy
Dude,
to think about, man.
That's a bad look. It's a bad look, Cole.
All right, Swain. So you were there, Orange and White game this weekend, spring game. You've been around the team for last couple of years. You know the personnel. Now Nico's moving on. What are your realistic expectations for what the Tennessee football team is right now? Because it can change. Guys might go, guys might come in, but for what you see, kind of the core of it right now, how much have the expectations changed?
Oh, it's definitely changed. I mean, I think when you look at Nico's departure, until you see what Tennessee's going to do at the quarterback position, I think you have to probably take a game away from your win-loss prediction for Tennessee. I think that's the only fair thing to do. I mean, Tennessee's going to play on the road at Alabama, on the road at Florida. That's going to be tough games right there. You play Georgia early. You're going to open the season versus Syracuse and Atlanta. There's some tough games, and you're playing in the SEC. I mean, we thought we were going to blast Kentucky this past season, and that didn't go like that at all. So you just never know in this conference. You're going to get everyone's best stuff, and I think people kind of smell blood in the water because, what happened. So these guys, they got to come together, man. They got to come together. They got to work. And it's amazing what you can accomplish in the summertime in terms of leadership, in terms of development, physically, mentally. A lot can be done, but it's going to have to be done together. And hopefully some of these young guys understand that, and they don't look around waiting to be a junior to lead and hold your teammates accountable. You got to do it now. I think it's important for the coaches to really be proactive and push guys to lead and hold each other accountable, because I think this is going to be a young team offensively. There's going to be some new faces on the defensive side of the football too. This team will have to grow up quick.
Swain, thanks for stopping by, man. Like I said, I wanted you on because nobody's opinion on this matters to me more than yours, because you wore the uniform, you played there, you've covered the team, you have the media vision of this also. So seeing it from almost every lens possible, man. I just wanted to know your thoughts on it, how it went down. So thanks for hopping on, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Thanks for asking me. That means a lot coming from you, man. Keep doing what you do, man. Big fan.
All right, guys, if you're trying to get back into the hobby like I am, and I think I've actually shifted my mentality here, I'm going to start going into like an O-line collection and see if I can't, at some point in time down the road, put together the greatest collection of offensive line cards in history. Don't know if that ever really happens, but go to your app right now, the Fanatics Live app, and you can get into card breaks for anything. Football, you got Prism Deca that's out now for the NFL. You've also got different breaks for baseball. You got a couple new, the Topps Heritage is out now. UFC is out. WWE is out. Disney is out. These are all the card breaks running right now on Fanatics Live. And you got to get over to Pizza Pulls. I'll be breaking some NFL, maybe college cards Tuesday at Pizza Pulls. Just go to Fanatics Live, search Pizza Pulls, and go to their store right now, and you'll see me. And if you use the link down here at the bottom and you're interested in getting into card breaks, you get $25 for free. So just sign up, and you got $25 to go get into a break right now. See what it's all about. Because some of these boxes and cases of cards are thousands of dollars, and you can't pay that. But you want to get involved, and you want to chase a certain team or a certain player. Well, now you can buy into some of these breaks just for that team or just for that player, and you can chase them for $25 or $50 as opposed to $500 or $5,000. So go to fanaticslive.com right now, or go to Fanatics Live in the App Store, download the app on your phone, and do like I do, get into some of these breaks, chase the cards that you want for a much more reasonable price. Fanatics Live, get the app, and then go to Pizza Pulls and check them out. I'll be there on Tuesdays. Really appreciate Swain hopping by. Just wanted to get his thoughts on this Nico Iamaleava situation. I gave you mine. It's unfortunate for college football. It's where we are. And there are a lot of people, too, that are finger pointing the NCAA right now. You bad NCAA. You could have made this right. You can fix this. No, the hell they can't. Stop doing that. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys right now, it's not an intellectual conversation. The NCAA tries to do anything about this, they're going to get sued. Now, if you want to say they could have done something about this 20 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe. What can they do right now? They're going to get sued. If they try to put up guardrails with the portal, you're going to get sued. If you try to put up barriers with the NIL, you're going to get sued. The NCAA has no power right now. The lack of leadership is real, but who's getting paid to lead all of it? Nobody is. So it's this sailboat without a sail that's just out at sea, and people can do whatever they want. There are no rules. There are no regulations anymore because no one can enforce. And the people who try to enforce are going to get taken to court, and they're going to lose. So they're going to take a step forward and then 10 more back because they're going to lose in court again. And they're going to have to settle or make way or give up again. All they do, the NCAA over and over and over again, is try to get something done and then say, you know what, we'll get out of your way. Here, you can have all of it. And instead of looking at the underbelly of it, when they go make a rule, they just make the rule to satisfy whoever it is, and then people walk all over it and take full advantage of it. It's going to continue happening until they get assistance from somewhere else, or unfortunately they become employees, which I don't want to see happen. And honestly, I don't think the players want to see happen either, because some of the people behind them wanting to be employees are scummier than a lot of these agents that are running around. So it's an unfortunate spot that we're in. I hate it for Nico. I hate it for Tennessee. I hate it for Tennessee fans. And I don't know if there is a real finger that you can point at right here. I do know this. You want to talk about handling things right or wrong? You can point the finger at that camp and say, no matter what, y'all could have handled this in a better way. There's a more professional way that you could have done this. Thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Please subscribe on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and we will be back next week.